So a while ago I made this crossover. I made a lot of crossover videos, one more specifically with a hero and My Hero Academia. Now, I did make a My Hero Academia kind of crossover with Batman. I believe I did Spider-Man, and I've done some other stuff as well. But today we'll be talking about, well, the one and only Superman, the one that wears an S or something that stands for the symbol of hope on his chest. We'll be talking about what if he was in My Hero Academia. Now, for starters, the setup is very simple, and it's ironic because I call it simple when you have a baby fall out of the sky in a, well, spaceship. But that's exactly what still would happen. This time around, though, Superman would enter Japan instead of anywhere else. Let's just say he lands there or lands somewhere. Even you could argue that he won't even have to land there, but for simplistic sake, he will land in Japan and land in the world of My Hero Academia. Now, for just starters right off the rip, Superman would probably have a very normal life to start out things with, because this world is known for superheroes. They know this world as a completely taken over by this kind of more kind of commercial-like superhero type of world where they make a lot of money, not from just being strong, not from just saving people, but from also being that big appearance, having somebody really be known. That is how they make a ton of money, and that is how All Might obviously made money. That is how some other heroes like Endeavor obviously made quite a bit of money and stuff like that. All of it is, or a lot of it is, popularity. And Superman, let's just say, he would be pretty popular. I wouldn't say he would be the most popular by any means. Like, he wouldn't be like some crazy popular hero because he's so good at connecting and so good at doing this and that. In my opinion, I think, and I believe I did a video on this before, I honestly believe that the Flash would have a really easy time kind of connecting with so many people because of his attitude, because of his quippy and cool and kind of fun attitude. But Superman, yes, he's not necessarily serious, but he's definitely takes things more serious in terms of saving people, in terms of making sure everyone is safe. But at the same time, people would love him because he is kind of like that next symbol of peace. And Superman would definitely be treated by everyone like a pretty high up there type of hero. I mean, for starters, if he did end up going to some sort of hero high school, which that could potentially happen when he's younger, he would have all the potential in the world. I mean, they would probably deem him to have a solar-like quirk, maybe a solar core or sun-like quirk, which kind of this label would be kind of mutation based. He would have flight, super strength, heat vision, x-ray vision, invulnerability, basically super speed, enhanced hearing, cold breath, so much stuff. And frankly, they would definitely call him quite a few things, and maybe even kind of like the chosen one, or like the next great hero, the last hope for hero society. He would be that next version of All Might. If he might even show up before All Might would show up as well. Maybe even showing up when someone like Nana Shimura is still there, or some other people are still there, and All Might is just on his rise. So in this reality, there's a world where Superman actually makes it so All Might doesn't not only become a clear-cut number one hero, but he's not so easily recognized as the number one greatest hero to ever walk the planet. Superman would definitely take that just all the way home and take the entire cake with that idea, because he not only is far more powerful, and this is a pretty obvious assumption, right, that he is a lot stronger than everyone else in My Hero Academia, and he's a lot more powerful, he has a lot more utility, a lot more weaponry in terms of like what he can do. So at the end of the day, people would definitely look at him as that number one on that up and comer, but they would also look at him as that person to really take that next step. And ironically enough, let's just say, for kind of like, you know, the sake of the story, he goes to UA. let's make it very clear, he would not be with Bakugo. He would not be with Todoroki. He would not be with like Ida and Deku. No, he's not going to be with them. I mean, you could make a story based around that, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't see that being the case. He could potentially be with a bunch of people that we don't know, or a bunch of people that we actually do know that are future teachers and heroes of the society, or the present heroes and teachers of that society like we speak of now. People like Shota Aizawa, people like President Mike and stuff like that. Maybe he goes to school with them. But in all honesty, the big thing about being at UA, big thing about being at some sort of high school that is made for heroes, is they're going to hone him, train him, and prepare him. And he's going to be far more prepared than what he normally is in his, like, first debuts and stuff like that, because he will be trained. He will be properly trained so that his hand-to-hand combat skills are pretty decent. His ability to utilize all of his abilities, like, it would be pretty decent. So he wouldn't have the struggles that he may kind of had throughout his life, not the way that he normally would have it. His flight capabilities would be very simple. He'd be able to utilize them. Super strength, he'd be able to control himself a lot better. Heat vision, same thing. He'd be able to control it, kind of conserve it, concise it, all of it so much more. Same thing with his X-ray vision, his super speed, and enhanced hearing, and even cold breath. Maybe they even come up with some sort of techniques that allow him to kind of hone his abilities down, because obviously when you have these crazy capabilities, these crazy abilities, sometimes you can get overwhelmed. Sometimes things kind of are all over the place, but luckily enough, Clark, or Superman in this case, would definitely be able to mess with that, definitely be able to handle himself to a degree so that he can prepare himself for the future of, what this place is going to be, and for the future of what he's going to be as a hero. Now, you could obviously talk about All For One, Shigaraki, talk about all these other villains that could pop up. Superman would obviously be able to handle these villains, like, very easily. The only way I could see some villain kind of getting even the slightest of upper hands on Superman is if they somehow get kryptonite, or they somehow are able to figure out kind of like who's close to Superman and get the jump on it and kidnap somebody, or do this or do that. Like, you would have to do some pretty outlandish stuff to even get a head start on trying to stop or kind of put down someone like Clark. And there's no guarantee that they would be able to even find kryptonite. Even if they could find it, would they even know if it does anything? Would they even know if it would be kind of the weakness of Superman? Maybe they come across it somehow. I don't know how. Maybe some small meteor that lands or something along those lines. And they're thinking, I don't know what this is. It's just a green rock. Maybe it's nothing. And then they don't even do anything with it. There's a good chance like nothing comes with that. And if you give Superman a place without kryptonite, without an equal, without somebody to stop him, he's going to have a very easy time essentially stopping villainy in its entirety, stopping every single villain attack, every single little thing. And we heard that All Might essentially kind of cut out a good chunk of like villain society and good chunk of crime in general. Like, All Might literally did that by himself. So imagine if you had someone like Superman and then also All Might. It's like having two symbols of peace. One symbol for hope, one symbol for peace. And they both can kind of coincide with each other. Yes, they would be different. Yes, one would be more powerful than the other. But they can really and legitimately take over to the point where it shuts down everything in terms of crime and stuff like that in Japan. But Superman could even help out with various other countries, maybe even go to the United States, maybe even go to various countries in like Europe or anywhere else that you could possibly think of. And he could help over there, help overseas, help along the lines of anywhere else you can possibly think of, help out where he possibly can. And he's fast enough to do so. He has the enhanced hearing to do so. He has everything in his arsenal to do just that. And it would also lift kind of the burden that All Might has protecting Japan itself. We know that All Might goes through hell. I mean, he got injured really badly. That injury most likely just doesn't happen if Superman is prepared and capable before the injury even occurs. He'd probably be able to help out to the degree that he would never have to injure himself or put himself in a place to get injured in that regard. And everything would kind of turn out to be just all fine and dandy. The addition of Superman would legitimately make it so that they have not only two symbols of hope and peace respectively, but they would also have two extremely powerful heroes to shut down every single villain that could possibly be there, like All For One, like Shigaraki, like every other, like Overhaul, and so many more. And yes, would Clark struggle in some aspects? Of course, because there would be a lot of people questioning, what is he? How did he get these powers? How does someone like him, a regular person, get the powers of basically a sun god, like a god himself? I mean, he is getting powers from the sun, and they obviously would learn this to an extent, and maybe they would even learn that he's actually an alien, and he's just an alien in general, though, because he's an alien not only genetically, but he'll be an alien in terms of kind of being so different in outlooks and approach than everyone else. But at the same time, they would really see him as that next great hero. Like, not even just great, like that's probably an understatement. It would probably be the next perfect hero, the literal perfect hero, because he legitimately would be fearless. He legitimately would be unstoppable. And to them, they would look at it and be like, how could anybody get a quirk like that? How could anybody get powers like that? I mean, if I had powers like that, yeah, I'd be able to do stuff too. So is there a world where slightly, just a little bit, there might be some people that believe that Clark is carried by the idea of his powers and the usage of his powers alone? Sure, right? But at the same time, nobody thought of that in terms of All Might. Nobody was thinking, well, All Might's only strong because of his quirk. All that really mattered was that he was doing good by every single person and was standing up for what everyone wanted to believe in and being a good hero in general. So despite that, despite the idea of like this overwhelming power, Superman would definitely be that symbol of hope. Symbol of hope for a better tomorrow, and a symbol of hope for every single person in Japan and probably around the world to be far, far greater. So yes, in simplicity, if you bring Superman into the world of My Hero Academia, yes, he does handle things very, very, very easily. I mean, he can handle All For One, handle all these other villains. The only thing that's going to stop him is Kryptonite, and who's to say that they even get Kryptonite? Who's to say they're even able to get their little paws on Kryptonite? Most likely they would not be able to. But on top of that, would he be able to be the number one hero? That's a little bit more iffy. I think there's a chance, honestly, a pretty good chance that he has the potential to be the number one hero. But I truly believe it comes down to this. Is he there before All Might? If he is there before All Might, and he does become basically All Might before All Might, the symbol of hope is created before the symbol of peace, then there's a good chance he would remain the number one hero because of just how overwhelmingly powerful he is and how quickly he would cut crime rate down. Now, if he shows up after All Might and after he's already made that statement and made himself kind of a known, kind of legit best hero alive, then it'll be a lot more difficult. And the reason is because All Might himself is so kind of this kind of magnet for people, this giant symbol of peace that everybody follows and looks at as the greatest hero alive. So it would be harder to compete. But I think once Superman got his hands dirty and started really becoming and saving and doing all these things, I mean, we know he has the personality for it. We know that he's like this happy-go-lucky and wants to make sure people are safe and all of the above and all of these amazing things. And he would fit into My Hero Academia pretty damn well, and he would be able to stop people without much issue at all because the lack of kryptonites and also the lack of power to really stand in front of him and really kind of face him one-on-one or even one-on-many. And at the end of the day, I think there's a good likelihood that Superman, even if he does show up before or after All Might, there's a good chance he could still become the #1 hero, especially after All Might would retire, or if that would even happen. Because let's be honest, Superman would have a good chance at easily defeating All For One, and I mean a good chance at like making it look very easy. And if he does that, he makes it look that simple, he makes it look that easy, there's probably a lot of people out there that are going to be calling for him to be the #1 hero, and there'll be a lot of other future generation of heroes trying to compete with him, like Lemillion, like Deku, like so many more. But he'll probably still stand tall even with the future generations of heroes, but I don't think it would be as easy holding that #1 spot as he would be holding, the spot of the Earth's kind of strongest being, right? Strongest defender type of thing. I don't think it would be that easy for him to do so in terms of comparing it to making sure that he stays the #1 hero, because being the #1 hero takes a lot more than just power. It takes power, it takes charisma, it takes true love of the people and all of these things. And we know how much Lemillion and how much Izuku and Deku and many other heroes that are most likely to come that are going to captivate the people that surround them, captivate the people of Japan. And maybe someone like Lemillion would take over that #1 spot, but in all honesty, it would most likely be because Superman would be out and about saving other countries, other places, other cities outside of just Japan. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think would have happened if Superman was in My Hero Academia? What do you think would have occurred? Do you think he would have ended up becoming the #1 hero? How do you think he would kind of interact with people like All Might, Endeavor, and stuff like that? I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. And I would love for y'all to show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, all that good stuff. Now, with that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, YouTube believes you'll enjoy this one, so might as well go check it out.